In our cover story tonight, the State Ethics Commission is looking to force hundreds of politicians, lobbyists, and political groups to pay more than $2.5 million in fines. Some have failed to pay up for more than a decade. Investigative reporter Jody Barr has more on the push for tougher penalties at the State House.
Well, it could if a particular budget proviso survives this legislative session. The State Ethics Commission asked lawmakers to include language in this year's budget that would prevent people currently elected in South Carolina from running for office again if they owe unpaid ethics fines. So the incentive for a public official to pay this debt to the state of South Carolina is just not there in many cases.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, that's the reason for the debtors list, is to inform the public of the fact that these particular officials do owe fines, and in some ways to try to possibly embarrass them and get them to comply and pay the fine.
Ethics Commission Director Herb Hayden says state law gives him very few options to force officials to pay ethics fines. The commission has three options: file judgments, send certified letters to demand payment, and to turn debtors into the State Revenue Department to garnish their wages. Hayden says it's time to get tough on officials who've ignored the law.
It's unfair to those people who file the form properly and don't incur a penalty, and it's unfair to those people who are late filing a form and immediately pay their fine. They comply with the law, and then these other folks do not, and that's not fair.
Hayden asked lawmakers for a fix. Hayden says the House passed a proviso that would prevent officials who owe ethics fines from running for office. That would impact officials like Somerton Town Councilman Terrence Tyndall. Tyndall owes $21,500 in unpaid fines. He's running for mayor next month. Where do ethics rank on your list of priorities as a public official?
The situation that happened does not take me away from being a candidate for the mayor.
That proviso would disallow any elected official that owes an ethics fine to seek elected office again. That proviso would impact you.
Okay. Well, once again, I've stated my comment, and it's being taken care of.
Tyndall's debt was turned over to the DOR for collection. The proviso could also keep officials like Richland County Councilman Kelvin Washington and Council Chairman Norman Jackson Sr. from running again. Washington owes $11,100 in fines. Jackson owes $35,100. And that may pose a problem for you.
No, I agree. They should do that if they owe the money. If they owe it, they should.
Jackson disputed knowing anything about his fines, claiming he cleared his debt up 4 months ago. Ethics says that did not happen because violators are sent certified letters each time they miss a deadline. If a public official was to tell us that they simply didn't know about these fines, they weren't aware of it, would that be telling us the truth?
No. To put it blankly, no.
Our review of the debtors list shows 38 politicians holding office right now could be banned from running again if the ethics proviso passes. Richland County Council Chairman Norman Jackson Sr. says the proviso won't touch him because his $35,100 fine is just a misunderstanding.
I know that's your job to dig what you can dig and present to the media and present news. That's fine, right? I appreciate that, but at the same time, right, I have to know what's happening first before I can respond to you.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time.
You're not welcome. Thank you.
The current fine totals owed to the State Ethics Commission right now is more than $2.6 million. If the proviso passes the Senate, that is included in the final budget and the governor signs it, the ban on currently elected officials that owe ethics fines from running for office again could go into effect July 1st. We'll stay on top of that proviso to see where it ends up. From the State House, Jody Barr, WIS News 10.